Welcome to AudioFi. This audiobook has been thoughtfully created using research-backed principles from psychology, neuroscience, and personal development. Every chapter is designed to help you understand yourself better, think clearer, and grow stronger from the inside out. So, find a quiet space, sit back, and allow yourself to absorb these transformative ideas. Listen with an open mind and a ready heart, because the change you seek may just begin with this very moment. Are you tired of losing the war against your own hesitation, watching your best ideas die before they're born? You're trapped in a cycle of thinking, planning, and waiting while the world rewards those who move. This isn't about having the perfect strategy. It's about taking imperfect action right now. It's about building momentum so powerful that your old, hesitant self cannot survive. This is your manual for how to act first and win daily. Chapter 1. Expose the con artist in your head. Your mind has been running the same scam on you for years, and you've been falling for it every single day. It whispers recycled lies into your ear over and over like a broken salesman who never quits his pitch. That voice tells you you're not ready. It tells you you're not smart enough. It tells you you're not disciplined enough. It tells you to wait for the perfect moment. But here's the truth you've been avoiding. It's all a lie. That voice is a con artist. It lives between your temples. It convinces you that the comfortable little cage you sit in is a safe, sensible home. But safety is not safety. Safety is a trap. Safety is a prison wrapped in gold. And while you sit there clinging to safety, the world passes by. Growth doesn't happen in safety. Growth happens in the fire, in the friction, in the exact place your brain keeps trying to pull you away from. Growth happens the moment you look that lying voice in the eye and say, "Not today." Your brain is not trying to ruin your life. It isn't evil. It isn't malicious. It's just old software. It was built thousands of years ago to do one job, keep you alive. It evolved to keep you from starving, to keep you from running into saber-toothed tigers, to keep you huddled close to the fire where it was warm. Its only concern was survival. And survival meant one thing: avoid risk, avoid change, avoid discomfort. Your brain is still running that same ancient program today, but the threats are different now. You're not hunting for food in the wilderness, but your brain doesn't know that. So every time you think about starting something new, every time you step toward growth, it sounds the alarm. Danger, it says. Don't do it, it says. Stay where it's safe. And to make sure you obey, it feeds you lies. It tells you you're not ready. It tells you you don't have time. It tells you you don't feel motivated. But none of these are truths. They are tricks. They are the cheap magic of a survival machine trying to keep you still. Let's expose the tricks for what they are. That thought, "I'm not ready," is not caution. It's procrastination in disguise. You think you need more preparation, more certificates, more books, more podcasts, more practice before you start. You don't. Ready is not a feeling. Ready is not a state of perfection. Ready is a choice. You are as ready now as you'll ever be. The rest is learned in motion. You do not become ready before you start. You become ready because you started. Then there's the lie of time. "I don't have time," you say, as if the universe handed you fewer hours than everyone else. The busiest, most successful people on this planet wake up with the same 24 hours as you do. It's never been about time. It's about what you choose to prioritize. You say you don't have time, but your streaming apps, your social media feeds, and your endless scrolling tell a different story. You had time. You just gave it away. Every hour you spend binge-watching someone else's life is an hour stolen from your own. You are not a victim of the clock. You are its master. But you have to claim that power, or else it will own you. And then there's the most dangerous lie of all. "I'm not motivated." This one sounds so reasonable, so believable. You're just waiting to feel it, waiting for the spark, waiting for inspiration, waiting for the perfect vibe. But motivation is not the cause of action. It is the result. It does not show up first. It shows up later. It is the chemical high your brain rewards you with after you've done something hard. Waiting for motivation before you act is like waiting to sweat before you go for a run. You act first. You move first. The discipline of starting creates the fire you're waiting for. Action births motivation. Action is the generator. Knowing these lies is not enough. You need weapons. You need tools. You need daily tactics that break the loop and smash the script before it takes control of you again. Your first weapon is interrogation. You must become a ruthless cross-examiner of your own thoughts. That voice in your head is not a judge. It is not an authority. It is an unreliable narrator, and your job is to call it out. When the thought appears, "I'll fail if I try this," don't accept it. Write it down. Put it under the spotlight and attack it. Ask yourself, is this thought 100% true with absolute certainty? Where is the evidence? Where is the proof? What evidence exists against it? What will it cost me if I keep believing it for another year, for 5 years, for a decade? When you interrogate the lie, you strip away its disguise. You see it for what it really is. Fear, nothing more. Your next weapon is speed. The 5-second launch is how you stop hesitation from killing your progress. Here's the rule. The moment you feel the instinct to act, you have 5 seconds before your brain buries it under doubt. 5 seconds before it floods you with excuses. So you move. You count it down like a rocket launch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. The alarm goes off and you want to snooze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your feet hit the floor. You're in a meeting and you want to speak, but fear grips you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your hand is in the air. You know you should make that call, send that email, step forward into the thing you've been avoiding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're already doing it. This is not a trick of willpower. It's physiology. It shifts you out of the part of your brain that overthinks and into the part that acts. It is the starting pistol for your will. Use it relentlessly. But you also need proof, because your brain is biased. It holds on to your failures. It magnifies your embarrassments. It remembers every threat and forgets every win. That's why you build what I call the evidence log. Every single day, you collect proof against the lies. If your core lie says, "I'm lazy," you write down, "I woke up on the first alarm." If your core lie says, "I'm awkward," you write down, "I looked the barista in the eye." These actions seem small, almost too small to matter. But they matter. They are bricks. Day after day, they build a wall of undeniable truth. And when the lies come screaming, you don't argue with them. You don't debate them. You open your log and you read the evidence. And finally, you have to rewrite the code itself. You cannot just delete the thought loop. You must replace it. This is the script flip. When your brain gives you a passive, problem-filled statement, you turn it into an active, solution-focused command. "I don't know where to start" becomes, "I will take the smallest first step for 5 minutes." "I'm too tired to go to the gym" becomes, "I will put on my shoes and drive to the parking lot." "I can leave if I still want to." "What if they say no?" becomes, "My job is to ask." Their answer is their business. This is not about blind positivity. It is about power. It is about shifting your focus from the size of the mountain to the single step in front of you. The battle against the lies in your head is not one you fight once and win forever. It is daily. It is constant. It is the grind of choosing discomfort over comfort, growth over stagnation, action over excuses. Every time you choose the 5-minute workout instead of 5 more minutes of sleep, you cast a vote for your future self. Every time you open your mouth in the meeting instead of staying silent, you write a new line of your identity. Every time you interrogate a thought, instead of accepting it as truth, you seize control of your story. You are not the thoughts your mind produces. You are the one who hears them. You are the one who decides what to do with them. The lies will never leave completely. That voice of doubt will always whisper. But with these tools, you can turn its volume down. You can recognize its script, roll your eyes, and act anyway. The war for your potential is not fought in the grand, dramatic moments. It is fought in the tiny choices you make every day. The quiet decisions, the private battles, the seconds when no one is watching. Every time you act in defiance of the con artist in your head, you claim a piece of your future back. Every time you move in the face of fear, you cast a vote for the person you are becoming. This is the war. This is the work. The lies stop here. The fight begins now. But winning the war in your head is only the beginning, because after you expose the con artist inside, you must expose the lies all around you. The map you've been handed to a life you don't want. Chapter 2. Burn the map and build your compass. You've been handed a map to a life you don't want, and you've been following it because you were told to. You were given their blueprint, their checklist, their tired formula for a future that has nothing to do with you. This chapter begins with fire. You are here to burn that map. It was given to you by society, by family, by teachers, by bosses. But that map is not yours. It never was. Clinging to it is the surest way to get lost for good. After the war in your head comes the war with the world. You've exposed the con artist inside. Now you must expose the lies all around you. Maps feel safe. They promise a clear path and a certain destination. They whisper the seductive lie that if you just follow the steps, you'll be fine. But that comfort is a poison. That map is a tyrant, masquerading as a guide. The path is a leash. Following their map is the fastest way to the top of the wrong mountain. And success at the wrong summit is the most bitter kind of failure. You arrive at a victory that feels hollow, a destination that feels foreign, because you climbed for them, not for you. A compass is different. A compass doesn't give you steps. It gives you direction. It doesn't promise ease. It promises a pull. An undeniable magnetic pull toward what matters to you. Toward your why. Not a borrowed why that looks shiny on social media. Not a polished why that sounds good in a job interview. I am talking about your real why. The one that makes your chest burn. The one that refuses to die, no matter how many years you've buried it under a mountain of other people's expectations. For years, you've been conditioned to chase borrowed goals. Like the lies in your head, these borrowed goals are cheap tricks designed to keep you still, to keep you compliant. There's the legacy trap, the dream handed down to you from your family that you feel obligated to fulfill. You spend your life finishing a race your parents started believing. Their approval is the finish line. Then there's the status game. You chase titles, promotions, and the corner office. Not because the work lights you up, but because the applause feels good. You mistake external validation for internal fulfillment. And today, the most insidious of all is the curated lie of social media. You scroll through an endless gallery of other people's victories, comparing your messy behind the scenes to their perfectly filtered highlight reel. They are not goals, they are chains. These borrowed goals, just like the lies your mind tells you, are not rooted in your soul. They are rooted in fear. Fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of being different, fear of standing utterly and completely alone. But knowing this is not enough. You need a weapon. You need a tool to cut yourself free. So how do you build the compass? You start with brutal honesty, not the soft kind, the kind that feels like fire. I call this tool the true North Audit. It is a confrontation between you and every lie you've ever told yourself about what you want. Find a quiet room. Turn off your phone. The audit begins now. Here's the work. Take a sheet of paper. Write down every single goal you are currently chasing. All of them. The career ladder, the financial number, the relationship status, the car you're saving for. Don't filter. Don't justify. Let the honest truth spill onto the page. That paper is your map exposed in the harsh light of day. Look at it. See how many of those destinations were never meant for you. Now comes the interrogation. For each goal on your list, you will ask one devastating question. Whose goal is this? Really, Is it mine or a leftover expectation from my parents? Did I absorb this dream through a screen or did it grow from my own heart? Am I running toward this future or am I just running away from the shame of disappointing someone? Be ruthless. If the root of the goal is fear, if the root is validation, if the root is a borrowed expectation from a world that doesn't know you, cross it off, rip it out. With every line you strike, you are burning a piece of the map. This is you taking back ownership. This is the rebellion. When you're done, the page may be mostly empty. Good. Now, on a blank page, you answer the 3 questions that find your compass. Question 1. What made you feel most alive as a child before the world told you who to be? This question strips away years of programming. It finds the signal from before the noise. Question 2. What activity makes you lose all track of time? This is your flow state. It is a direct clue from your subconscious about where your authentic energy wants to go. Question 3. If fear and money were off the table, what problem would you dedicate your life to solving? This is not about passion, it is about purpose. It's the mark you want to leave when no one is watching. The answers are not your final destination. They are not your plan. They are your direction. The needle of your compass twitching back to life. This is your true north. And once you have it, the work changes. You align your daily choices to it. Every decision, every yes and every no, is now a move on a new board. Before you act, you hold the choice up against your true north, and you ask, does this pull me forward, or does this drag me back to the burned map? If it pulls you forward, you act. If it drags you back, you cut it. Without apology, you must accept this. Your compass will not make sense to others. It's not supposed to. They will call you reckless. They will call you foolish. They will hand you their map again and again because your freedom is a terrifying mirror to their own chains. Let them. Their fear is not your problem. You don't need a 10-year plan. That's map thinking. That's the trap. You need conviction in your direction, strong enough to drag you through the chaos. Because chaos is not the enemy. Chaos is the evidence you finally left the conveyor belt. Chaos is the sound of your chains breaking. It is the wide, open space where you finally get to create a life, not just follow one. This is not just about goals. It is about identity. For years, you've been an actor in a play you never auditioned for, reading lines you never wrote. It's time to burn the script. Write your own lines. Direct your own life. This is not selfishness. This is sovereignty. The highest form of responsibility is not obedience to a borrowed map. It is the authorship of your own life. So this is the work. Run the audit. Burn the borrowed goals. Uncover your why. Build the compass that holds steady when the storms rage and the world shakes its head. Nobody can do this for you. Not your parents, not your mentors, not me. This work is yours alone. When you carry their map, you will always be lost. But when you carry your compass, you can never be truly lost again. You may stumble, you may wander, but you will always know which way to turn. That is the liberation. You stop asking, am I behind? And start knowing, I am on my path. You stop begging for permission and start creating the road with your own 2 feet. The fire is lit. The rebellion is here. Burn the map. Build the compass. Let the old scripts go up in flames. Walk into the chaos, because chaos means you're free. Find your true north. Now walk. But even with your compass pointing true north, you'll still be pulled back by the most seductive enemy of all, the one that doesn't look like an enemy at all. Chapter 3. Recognize that comfort is killing you. The life you hate wasn't built by a single disaster. It was built one comfortable choice at a time. Your life doesn't burn down in a blaze of glory. It doesn't collapse in some dramatic, catastrophic event. It erodes in silence. It rots from the inside out, hollowed by a million small, seemingly harmless surrenders. The snoozed alarms, the skipped workouts, the hard conversations avoided. One small comfort stacked upon another day after day, year after year, until you wake up in a life you don't recognize. Let's start with a truth that stings. The answer is simple. The comfort you chased became your cage. Here's why comfort is the most dangerous enemy you face. It doesn't look like an enemy. It disguises itself as relief. It feels like a reward you've earned. Pain, at least, is an honest signal. Tragedy shakes you awake. Rock bottom is a foundation you can push off from. But comfort? Comfort is the con artist's lullaby. It strokes your hair and whispers, "Don't worry. You can let this one slide. Take it easy. You deserve a break." And you listen. But tomorrow isn't different. The next day isn't different. The voice of comfort grows stronger with every surrender, and the voice of your ambition grows weaker until it's nothing but a faint echo. And then, silence. Comfort doesn't bankrupt you in one grand transaction. It robs you a penny at a time so slowly you barely notice the theft. You skip one workout. Nothing happens. You eat one night of junk food. You feel fine. You say, "I'll start next week, just once." The dream doesn't die. But the cost is on a delay. The bill always comes due. That one skipped workout compounds into a body you're ashamed of. That one night of junk food becomes a habit that drains your energy. That one next week becomes a graveyard of never-started projects. The life you hate is the sum total of easy choices you thought were free. Your brain is addicted to this poison for the same reason it tells you lies. It's running old software. Today, your brain still flags discomfort as a threat. The gym, the blank page, the difficult conversation, they feel hard, so the alarm sounds. It screams at you to retreat to the familiar, to the easy, to comfort. Comfort is the weapon your primitive brain uses to keep you small. And every time you choose it, you pay an invisible tax, a tax charged in the currency of your future. You think comfort is free, but nothing is free. Comfort charges brutal interest. Skip the hard work today, and you pay with weakness and low energy tomorrow. Avoid the honest conversation now, and you pay with resentment and broken trust later. Postpone the dream, and you pay with a regret so heavy it will suffocate you in your sleep. Regret is always more expensive than discipline. Comfort even masquerades as freedom. You think you're free when you skip the gym, eat whatever you want, or scroll for hours. But this is the paradox of your prison. The freedom of sleeping in leads to the prison of an unproductive day. The freedom of eating garbage leads to the prison of a body you hate living in. The freedom of avoiding risk leads to the prison of a life haunted by what if. Easy choices build your cage. Hard choices break you out of it. Growth and comfort cannot coexist. They are opposing forces. Every version of yourself you admire, the stronger you, the richer you, the braver you was forged in the fire of discomfort. The path to the life you want is paved with the things you don't want to do. So you stop hoping to feel good. You stop waiting for motivation. You arm yourself for the daily war against ease. You need weapons. Your first weapon is the one level harder rule. This is your new code. Whatever you're about to do, you upgrade the choice by one level. About to take the elevator, you take the stairs. About to scroll social media, you read one page of a book. About to order the fries, you get the salad. You don't need a dramatic life overhaul. You just need to win the next small decision by making it one level harder. The compound effect of these small wins is unstoppable. Your next weapon attacks the chaos of your schedule. It's called the discomfort appointment. You don't hope for discomfort. You schedule it. You hunt it down. You put the workout on your calendar and treat it like a meeting with your CEO. You block out the hour for deep work, and you protect it like your life depends on it. Because it does. Comfort thrives in unstructured time. You kill it by giving your hard choices a time and a place to exist. Your third weapon is for the days when the con artist in your head is screaming the loudest. It's the 5-minute launch. Your brain will say you're too tired, too busy, too overwhelmed to start. Fine. Agree with it. Then commit to just 5 minutes. 5 minutes of writing. 5 minutes of cleaning, 5 minutes of the work you're avoiding. The secret is that the war is never about finishing. It's always about starting. Inertia is comfort's greatest ally. You shatter it with 5 minutes of motion. Your final weapon is honesty. You drag the enemy into the light with the pain audit. Grab a notebook. Write down exactly where comfort is robbing you. Be specific. Comfort eating has made me gain 20 pounds. Comfort scrolling steals 2 hours from me every night. My comfort with silence has created distance in my marriage. Force yourself to look at the bill. Stare at the price you're already paying. Comfort hates the light of truth. You will not kill this enemy once. Comfort is not a dragon you slay. It's a weed that grows back every single morning. It's waiting for you in your warm bed. It's in the sugary food in your kitchen. It's in the infinite scroll on your phone. The war is daily, and the battles are small and silent. No one will give you a medal for choosing the stairs. No one will applaud when you eat the salad. But these invisible choices build a visible life. Every single time you choose the hard path over the easy one, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. So now you have a choice. The temporary sting of discomfort today, or the permanent, suffocating poison of regret tomorrow. There is no third option. The pain of the workout ends. The pain of hating your reflection lasts. The sting of rejection fades. The ache of never trying is forever. Choose your pain, but choosing pain once isn't enough. You need to build an arsenal that fires automatically even when your willpower fails, because your excuses are loading their weapons too. Chapter 4. Stack weapons, not excuses. Every excuse you have ever used is a pathetic whisper compared to the roar of one sharp-stacked habit. The war against comfort is not won with grand speeches or sudden bursts of inspiration. It is won in the trenches of your daily life with the weapons you forge right now. Your excuses are the enemy's cheapest ammunition. They sound convincing in the echo chamber of your mind, but they are hollow shells designed for one purpose: to keep you pinned down, to keep you safe, to keep you small. You know their names. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. I don't have time. I'm not ready yet. I don't know where to begin. These are not reasons. They are well-crafted lies. They are smokescreens for fear. They are the intricate justifications you build to avoid the friction of growth. And every single time you use one, you are reloading the enemy's gun and aiming it directly at the heart of your own potential. Let's be brutally honest for a moment. You don't beat this enemy with willpower. Willpower is a flash grenade. It's bright, it's loud, and then it is gone, leaving you in the dark when the real fight begins. You don't beat excuses with motivation. Motivation is a sugar rush, a temporary and unreliable high that inevitably crashes, betraying you when you need strength the most. You cannot fight a systemic problem with an emotional solution. You fight excuses with a superior system. You fight them with habits. Habits are the weapons that fire when your spirit is tired, when your emotions are screaming for a retreat, and when your excuses are whispering sweet poison in your ear. Habits are automatic. They don't debate with you. They don't ask for your opinion or check on your mood. They simply execute the command. When the hard, necessary work becomes as automatic as brushing your teeth in the morning, your excuses never even get a chance to speak. One sharp habit can win a skirmish. It can get you through a tough moment. But a stack of habits? That's an arsenal, a fully loaded, self-reinforcing system of weapons that makes excuses irrelevant. So how do you build this arsenal? You don't just find one clever trick. You stop looking for a magic bullet, and you start forging a system of interlocking weapons. This is the philosophy of the weapon stack. It is a strategic approach to engineering your life for victory. First, you lay the foundation with the anchor habit. Every great system begins with a single point of activation. This is your starting pistol. It's a single, non-negotiable action that signals the start of the battle for your day. The anchor isn't about difficulty. It's about certainty. It must be so simple that it's almost impossible to say no to. For some, it's lacing up running shoes and placing them by the door. For others, it's pouring a black coffee and sitting at a clean desk. It could be opening a blank page in a notebook. The anchor habit is the small, sharp click of the safety coming off your primary weapon. The moment it happens, the con artist in your head knows the debate is over. The excuses know they're already dead. Next, you use habit pairing. This is how you create momentum. Never let a habit fight alone. A single, isolated habit is vulnerable. It's a lone soldier on an open field, easily ambushed by the chaos of your day. But when you chain a new habit to an existing one, it becomes part of a lethal combination. This is the double tap. You anchor the action you want to do to an action you already do automatically. For example, after I brush my teeth, I drink 1 full glass of water. After I pour my first cup of coffee, I open my journal and write 1 sentence. After I shut down my computer for the day, I immediately lay out my gym clothes for the next morning. Each chained habit creates a rhythm. It creates a domino effect. And rhythm is the sound of your excuses being systematically crushed. Third, you rig the entire battlefield with environment control. Your environment is not neutral. It is either an armory designed for your victory or an ambush course designed for your failure. Excuses thrive on easy temptations. So you remove the temptations. You kill them before they have a chance to breathe. This is about making it easier to win than to lose. You delete the social media apps from your phone. You throw out the junk food from your pantry. You put your phone in another room during your designated hours of deep work. You are preloading your choices. You are booby-trapping the path of least resistance so that it leads directly to the actions you want to take. In an environment you've designed, excuses die of starvation. Finally, you constantly upgrade your weapons through escalation. A habit that doesn't grow stagnates and eventually dies. Victory isn't just about holding the line, it's about advancing your position. Once an action becomes easy, once it becomes automatic, you increase the load. 10 push-ups become 20. 5 minutes of writing becomes 15. Reading 1 page of a book becomes 10 pages. This is how you apply relentless pressure. You don't leap to the top of the mountain. You build a staircase, 1 solid, unbreakable step at a time, until the walls are too high for your old excuses to ever climb again. Now, it's time for you to do the work. Just as you ran the True North audit, you must now run the excuse audit. It is time to drag your enemies into the light and put them on trial. Grab a notebook and write down every single excuse you have ever whispered to yourself. Be honest, be ruthless. Too late, too tired, too stressed, too old, too broke, not smart enough. This is your kill list. And for every single excuse on that list, you will now design a specific weapon. A counter habit designed to destroy it on sight. Let's make this tactical. For excuse, I don't have time to work out in the morning. The weapon is, I schedule it in my calendar as a non-negotiable meeting from 6 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. My gym clothes are laid out the night before. For excuse, I'm too tired to write or work on my project after my day job. Weapon is, my anchor habit when I get home is not to sit on the couch. It is to go to my desk and commit to a 5-minute assault. For excuse, I'll start my diet tomorrow. Weapon is, I meal prep on Sundays. My fridge is already stocked with winning choices. This is how you turn from victim to warrior. Here are some sample weapon stacks you can steal and deploy immediately. The morning arsenal. Your alarm is across the room, forcing you out of bed. The first anchor habit is 1 large glass of water waiting for you on your nightstand. The next action is 5 minutes of movement, push-ups, air squats, stretching. Anything to change your physiological state. The third action is to sit down and write 1 sentence in a journal about your single most important task for the day. In the first 10 minutes of a morning like this, excuses die. There is no room for them to breathe. The focus arsenal. When it's time for deep work, your phone is in another room on silent. Your noise-canceling headphones are on. Your anchor habit is to close every single browser tab except the one you need for the task at hand. Your time is blocked in a 90-minute session with a timer running. There is a fortress around your attention. Distraction, the favorite excuse of the modern world, starves to death outside the walls you have built. This is the arsenal effect. A single habit is one shot. A stack of habits is automatic fire. They don't just add up, they compound and multiply. A disciplined morning bleeds into a focused workday. A focused workday builds momentum that makes it easier to hit the gym. A good workout gives you the energy to eat clean. This is a self-reinforcing loop that pushes you forward, making your weakest days stronger than your old, strongest excuses. You will fail. A weapon will jam. A day will be lost. That does not matter. The arsenal remains. This is not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. You get back on the line, you reload, you keep stacking. Excuses want you to believe that one failure means the war is over. It's a lie. The war is won by the warrior who gets back up day after day and loads their weapons again. Stop giving your excuses a voice. Stop negotiating with weakness. Stop listening to the con artist who tells you that you can do it tomorrow. Build your arsenal. Sharpen your habits. Stack them so high that your excuses suffocate in the silence. The war for your future is not won by heroes in a single blaze of glory. It is won by disciplined soldiers in the quiet, systematic loading of weapons every single day. Stack weapons, burn excuses, march. But having weapons is meaningless if you never pull the trigger. Because right now, you're circling the target when you should be taking the shot. Chapter 5. Pull the trigger. Don't wait for permission. You do not need more time. You do not need more information. You need to stop circling the target and finally pull the trigger. Let's call this circling what it really is, a sophisticated form of cowardice. You've convinced yourself that you're being strategic. You're researching, you're networking, you're strategizing. But this preparation is just procrastination wearing a business suit. It's the most socially acceptable and self-deluding form of fear. You do not need more time. You do not need more information. You need to stop circling the target and finally pull the trigger. It allows you to feel the comforting illusion of progress without ever taking on the terrifying risk of action. You feel busy, but you are not moving. You are just spinning in place, a stalled engine roaring in neutral, burning precious fuel and going nowhere. Hesitation is the primary weapon fear uses to assassinate your future. Hesitation doesn't knock you out. It slow bleeds your ambition. Fear understands that it doesn't need to knock you out cold. It just needs to keep you circling just one more day, one more week, one more year. It whispers that one more piece of information will finally make you ready, that the conditions will be better next month, that you're just waiting for the perfect moment. But the perfect moment is a ghost. It doesn't exist. You don't beat this enemy with more planning. You beat it by interrupting the pattern. You beat it with the violent, decisive, and irreversible act of pulling the trigger. The second enemy you face is even deeper. A program installed in you from your earliest days. It's the lie that you need permission. From the moment you could understand language, you were trained to wait. You were taught to raise your hand to speak, to wait for the green light to cross the street, to ask for a hall pass to walk the corridor, to wait for your boss's approval before starting a project. The system from school to the corporate ladder relentlessly conditioned you to believe that obedience was the path to safety, and that permission was the key to every locked door. And now you carry that cage inside your own mind. You are still waiting. You are waiting for the right time to start the business, as if time itself will one day anoint you. You are waiting for an expert or an influencer to tell you your work is good enough outsourcing your self-worth to a stranger. You are waiting for the universe to send you a sign, a bolt of lightning that will finally grant you the certainty you crave. Listen to me. No one is coming. Not a mentor with a magic formula, not a boss with a golden key, not a savior with a divine message. The only permission that ever mattered is the permission you grant yourself. And that permission is not granted by asking, waiting, or hoping. It is granted by acting. Action is the only true antidote to fear. You must burn this truth into your mind. You will never feel ready. Readiness is a myth sold to you by cowards who want you to stay in the audience with them. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the presence of action despite fear. Courage is the sweaty palms, the racing heart, the voice in your head screaming at you to stop. Courage is feeling all of that, taking a deep breath, and pulling the trigger anyway. The moment you move, the chemical state of fear begins to crack. Action is a physiological event. It shifts the energy in your body and the focus of your brain. You cannot think your way out of anxiety. The overthinking mind is the very source of the fear. You must act your way through it. Every time you pull the trigger, you are sending a new, powerful signal back to the primitive software in your brain. The signal says, I am in charge here. I am the one who moves forward in the face of uncertainty. The alarm you are sounding is irrelevant. With every shot you fire, you are not just building a project, you are forging a new identity. So forget the theory. Here is your tactical doctrine. These are the rules of the trigger. This is your new code of execution. Rule 1. Fire before you're ready. Ready is the finish line of a race you should never have run. It's a moving goalpost that fear keeps pushing further away every time you get close. The action itself is what forges your readiness. The recoil of the first shot, whether you hit or miss the target, will teach you more than 1,000 hours of sterile, bloodless planning. Rule 2. The 5-second launch. From the moment an instinct to act ignites in your gut, you have approximately 5 seconds before the con artist in your head rushes in and extinguishes it with a tidal wave of doubt, what-ifs, and excuses. This is a neurological window of opportunity. You close it by moving your body. 5-4-3-2-1. Go. There is no debate. There is no committee meeting. There is only movement. Rule 3. Start small but start violent. Do not confuse small actions with timid ones. A small action can be the most violent of all if it shatters a long-standing pattern of inaction. One small, decisive move today is infinitely more powerful than a grand, perfect plan for tomorrow. Send one cold email. Write one raw, unedited paragraph. Make one 5-minute sales call. The size of the action is irrelevant. The violence and finality of your intent is everything. Rule 4. Ship ugly. Perfectionism is the most elegant and respected form of fear. It is a gilded cage that feels like a commitment to quality, but is in reality a deep-seated terror of judgment. It will keep you polishing a project until it dies of old age in the darkness of your hard drive. Launch the messy version. Publish the flawed draft. Release the broken product. You cannot improve something that does not exist. Get it out into the world. Let the market be your editor. Let the feedback be your guide. Let the critics throw their stones. It is better to be shot at in the arena than to be safe and forgotten in the stands. It is time for you to do the work. It is time for the action audit. Stop dreaming. Stop talking. It is time to lock a target. Grab your notebook. Right now, write down 3 concrete targets you have been circling. Not vague wishes like, be healthier. Not someday fantasies like, write a book. 3 specific immediate actions you have been avoiding out of fear. Now for each one, you will define the smallest, fastest, most immediate trigger pull you can execute today. For target, I want to start creating content online. Trigger pull is, I will open my Notes app, write 3 raw sentences about a topic I care about, and post it online as a comment or a status update in the next 10 minutes. For target, I want to get in shape. Trigger pull is, I will put on my shoes right now, walk outside my front door, and walk for 10 minutes in any direction, not tomorrow morning, now. For target, I want to launch my side business. Trigger pull is, I will go to a domain registrar and spend the $12 to buy the domain name that's been sitting in my notes. I am turning an idea into an asset. Today, Look at your list, choose one, just one. And before you finish this audiobook chapter, you will execute that trigger pull. This is not a suggestion. This is a command. You break the lifelong cycle of hesitation not by planning to act tomorrow, but by acting in some small but violent way today. The first trigger pull is the hardest. It breaks a lifetime of conditioning. The second shot is easier. The third creates a rhythm. By the 10th, you have begun to change your entire operating system. This is the velocity effect. Action creates momentum, and momentum is a force that fear cannot stand against. Momentum is the boulder rolling downhill. It will drag you forward even on the days your old instincts for comfort, safety, and permission are screaming for you to stop. Once you start firing, you will understand the profound truth that has been waiting for you all along. You never needed their permission. You never needed more time. And you certainly never needed to be ready. You only ever needed to pull the trigger. Stop circling. Stop begging for a green light that was never going to come. Pull the trigger. Fire scared. Fire messy. But fire. The war for your future is not won by the careful planners who die with a perfect strategy still in their hands. It is won by the warriors who step into the chaos, act when their heart is pounding, and fire when they are not yet sure of the outcome. Fear is not your enemy. Hesitation is. Action is the only cure. Pull the trigger. But once you start firing, you'll face a new temptation. The urge to perform your progress for applause instead of building in the shadows where real transformation happens. Chapter 6. Disappear. Now, dominate later. The world laughs at ghosts. It dismisses the unseen, mocks the quiet, and overlooks the diligent work done in the shadows. But then, one day the ghost returns, and it is no longer a whisper. It is a storm. The world that laughed is now forced into a stunned, reverent silence. It has just witnessed a creature come back stronger than the living. This chapter is your guide to becoming that ghost. There is a sickness in our age, and you have been infected by it. It's the disease of confusing visibility with progress, attention with achievement. You have been trained to post your every fragile beginning, your half-built dreams, your shaky first steps. You broadcast your intentions hoping for applause, for validation, for a cheap dopamine hit from a stranger's double tap that feels like momentum, but is in reality counterfeit fuel. It burns hot, it burns fast, and it will leave you stranded and exposed in the middle of a journey you haven't even earned the right to complete. If you want to build something that terrifies your old self, if you want to forge a body, a business, or a skill so powerful that it makes your past look like a stranger's life, you must first learn the art of vanishing. Disappear from the noise. Disappear from the stage. Disappear from the cheap circus of premature applause and validation seeking. The greatest transformations in history have always happened in the dark. A seed does not sprout under a spotlight. Steel is not forged in a daylight parade. Warriors are not built while the crowd is watching. They are built in silence, in darkness, in the lonely and unglamorous grind. So why must you go dark? Because noise is a leash. The moment you announce your intentions, you hand the world a chain to yank. Their opinions become your compass. Their approval becomes your drug, and their disapproval becomes your prison. You start adjusting your work not for excellence, but for reception. You have willingly sacrificed your sovereignty for the fleeting warmth of their attention. Secondly, premature exposure kills your patience. When you post your day one progress picture or announce the launch of your new venture, you create an invisible audience that demands a day 100 result by tomorrow. The pressure to perform for them will force you to chase shortcuts, to prioritize appearance over substance, to build something that looks good instead of something that is good. Silence is the only environment where true patience can grow. In the dark, there is no one to impress but the work itself. And finally, visibility feeds the ego, not your growth. When you tell everyone about the book you are going to write, or the marathon you are going to run, Your brain gives you a small hit of social validation. It feels as if you've already accomplished something. You get a portion of the prize before you've even run the race. Disappearing from the public eye robs you of this counterfeit reward. It forces you to get your only satisfaction from the act of doing the work itself. It leaves you hungry. It keeps you honest. This is not a retreat born from fear. This is a strategic disappearance, an intentional vanishing with the sole purpose of reloading. You are stepping into the shadows to do the ugly, painful, and repetitive work that no one will ever see and no one will ever clap for. This is the 5 a.m. alarm when the rest of the world is sleeping. This is the stack of rejected drafts in the corner of your room. This is the 50th rep in your empty gym. This is the messy notebook filled with flawed plans that will never get a like or a share. The dark is where you are allowed to bleed without applause, where you sweat without validation, where you fail repeatedly and brutally without witnesses. And that is where domination is born. This is the ghost strategy. It is a 3-phase operation for total reinvention. Phase 1, fade out. This is your conscious withdrawal. You stop broadcasting. You stop announcing your plans. You stop posting every fragile move you make. You learn to move through the world like a whisper. Mute the notifications. Unfollow the noise. Kill the desperate, needy impulse to seek applause for a war you haven't even won yet. This phase is about cultivating an appetite for invisibility. Phase 2, obsession in the dark. This is the heart of the work. You are now hidden. You take all the energy you once spent on performing, on posting, and you channel it like a laser into one single focus. You work where nobody can see you. You grind without a witness. You obsess over the craft. You fail. You learn. You recalibrate. You go again. You are not hiding. You are building. You are forging the skill, the business, the masterpiece. This is the longest and most difficult phase. This is the training montage of your life. Phase 3, reappear unrecognizable. You do not trickle back into the world. You do not return asking for feedback. You reemerge when the work is so undeniably powerful that it speaks for itself. The transformation is no longer a goal. It is a fact. It is a physical presence. You return not to seek applause, but to conquer a territory. You are not the same person who disappeared. You are the ghost who came back with power the living can no longer ignore. Make no mistake, this path is not easy. The darkness has its own enemies, and they will test your resolve. Loneliness will claw at you. Without the constant stream of external validation, the silence can feel deafening. This is the test. You must learn to use that loneliness as fuel, to find your validation in the work itself. Doubt will creep in. Without an audience cheering you on, the con artist in your head will whisper, "Does any of this even matter?" You must learn to answer that question not with words, but with another rep, another page, another hour of focused effort. Work is the only answer that silences doubt. And finally, impatience will haunt you. You will see others sprinting in the spotlight, getting praise for their loud but fragile progress. It will be tempting to crawl back into the light for your own scraps of attention. You must resist. You must trust that the slow, silent, and deep growth you are cultivating in the shadows will always outlast the loud, shallow, and fake momentum of the stage. Now it is time to do the work. It's time for the shadow audit. Grab your notebook. First, write down every single thing in your life that you are currently performing for applause. The social media posts about your goals. The empty accountability check-ins that are really just pleas for attention. The stories you tell people about the person you are becoming. Now look at that list and circle every item that steals energy you could be pouring directly into the work itself. Cross them out. Kill them. This is you cutting off the supply line to your ego. Next, on a clean page, write down 3 areas of your life where you need to disappear to build something truly formidable. Your fitness, your career or business, a creative skill, your relationships, Be specific. Circle the one that matters most to you right now. This is your target. You will now make a pact with yourself. For the next 90 days, you vanish in this one area. No posts, no broadcasts, no performance, only silent, focused work in the dark. That is your mission. The world does not need to see your process. It does not need to approve of your grind. It only needs to feel your arrival. Disappear now, build in the silence, fail in the shadows, obsess where no one can see you. And when you return, return unrecognizable. Return so sharp, so powerful, so undeniably transformed that the world has no choice but to step back and pay attention. The ghost always gets the last laugh. Disappear now. Dominate forever. But when you do emerge from the shadows, you'll need more than just skill. You'll need the weapon that turns thoughts into reality. The one most people never sharpen. Chapter 7. Forge your voice as a weapon. The same sentence that dies in one mouth can start a revolution in another. Your ideas are not the variable. The delivery system is. For years you have sharpened your thoughts only to hide them behind a dull and apologetic voice. You have allowed your best thinking to be sabotaged by weak delivery. This is the chapter where we forge the blade itself, because most people talk like background noise. Leaders talk like thunder. Let's be clear. Your voice is not just sound emerging from your throat. It is an instrument of power. It is posture, breath, gaze, and timing, all calibrated into a signal that the human nervous system cannot ignore. A weak voice apologizes for taking up space. A strong voice commands it. A weak voice is static. A strong voice clears the air. People do not respond to your words. They respond to the authority with which those words land. So let's burn the lies that have kept you quiet. The first lie is, I'm just not a natural speaker. This is a coward's excuse. No one is a natural soldier. They are trained. Your larynx, diaphragm, and posture are all equipment. Your cadence and tone are software. You are not stuck with the voice you inherited. You can rebuild the instrument. Lie 2. Authenticity means being weak. Authenticity means being aligned. A sharp message is not fake. It is focused. A dull delivery is not honest. It is lazy. It is a sign of disrespect for your own ideas. Lie. 3. Power means being loud. This is the amateur's mistake. Power is not volume. It is control. A scream without control is just noise. A whisper with absolute control can stop a room dead. You are not here to shout. You are here to become undeniable. You will now learn to do this, not with feelings, but with mechanics. These are the weapons of vocal dominance. The first set of weapons controls the physical hardware of your voice. Weapon 1, the spine breath. All power begins below your head. A shallow chest breather has a thin, nervous voice. Your power comes from your core. Before you speak, stand tall. Roll your shoulders back. Breathe low into your belly. Inhale through your nose and feel your waistband expand outward. Then exhale slowly through your mouth. This is not about calming down. This is about loading the weapon. 3 spine breaths before a critical meeting changes your entire physiological state from defensive to commanding. Weapon 2, the gravity drop. Weak speakers end their sentences with a rising intonation, turning a statement into an unheard question. It is a plea for validation. You will stop this immediately. End your declarative sentences with a downward vocal pitch. The last word should land like you are placing a brick firmly on a wall. It is final. It is done. We launch on Friday, period. This signals certainty. Weapon 3, the lock-in gaze. Your eyes are a targeting system. When you deliver your most important line, do not spray your gaze across the room like a sprinkler. That leaks authority. Instead, lock eyes with one single person for the full duration of that sentence. Pin them with your focus. It creates a circuit of undeniable pressure and connection. Then move deliberately to the next person. Precision gaze equals precision impact. Weapon 4. The stillness signal. In any high-stakes environment, extraneous movement is a sign of low status. Fidgeting, head bobbing, and shifting weight are all physical apologies. Your weapon is stillness. Plant your feet, keep your head level. When you speak, lean forward slightly, from the hips taking space. When you listen, lean back, owning the silence. Stillness is a broadcast of control. The next set of weapons governs your message structure. A powerful voice delivering a weak message is a waste of ammunition. Weapon 5. The razor. You will learn to cut the fat from your language. Filler words like like, sort of, I think, and, to be honest, are verbal static. They are the language of uncertainty. You will replace them with silence. A clean pause is always more powerful than a filled one. Shorter sentences, stronger verbs, one idea per breath. Weapon 6. The hook and hammer. Every communication is a mission. It needs a clear point of entry and a clear point of exit. The hook is your opening. It must be a startling fact, a sharp contrast, or a high-stakes question that seizes attention immediately. The hammer is your close. It is the direct call to action, the specific next step, the deadline. Everything in between serves these two functions. You do not ramble, you hook, you deliver, you hammer. Weapon 7. The red thread. You do not need 20 slides and a laser pointer. You need a narrative spine. Every effective message, from a 60-second update to a 60-minute keynote, follows a simple, powerful structure. Problem, path, promise. First, name the pain you are here to solve. Second, outline the path you will take. Third, articulate the promise of what victory will look like. Repeat this thread. If anyone asks a question, your answer follows this structure. This keeps you on message and in command at all times. You now have the weapons. But a weapon you don't train with is just dead weight. You do not rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your training. Here are your drills. Drill 1. The filler word execution. Record yourself speaking for 60 seconds on any topic. Play it back and count your filler words. Your mission is to get the number to 0. Every day, record a new 60-second message. Post the count where you can see it. This is not about shame. This is about data. You are hunting down your weaknesses one by one. Drill 2. The cadence shift. Read a paragraph from any book out loud. For the first sentence, speak in a slow, deliberate gear, pausing between each major phrase. This is your gravity gear. For the next sentence, shift to a steady, conversational pace. This is your narrative gear. For the last sentence, speak with controlled speed and energy, as if you are listing off rapid-fire points. This is your fire gear. You are training the ability to shift gears on command. Drill 3. The mirror interrogation. Stand in front of a mirror. Plant your feet. Take 3 spine breaths. Now deliver your most important current message in 60 seconds while looking yourself directly in the eye. Do not look away. Do not fidget. Your body must learn to hold a position of power while your mouth speaks. If your body apologizes, your words will follow. Now it's time to put these weapons and drills into action. It's time for the live fire exercise with the voice audit. Grab your notebook. Write down the 3 specific situations where your voice currently fails you. A presentation to leadership, a difficult conversation with your partner, a sales call. Be specific. Next to each situation, list the symptoms. I speed up. I use filler words. I trail off at the end of sentences. This is your diagnosis. Now assign a primary weapon and 1 drill to fix each failure point. For example, presentation to leadership. Weapon, gravity drop, drill, mirror interrogation. You now have a targeted training plan. You will schedule 10 minutes in your calendar every day to run these drills. This is not a someday project. This is your new training protocol. When you enter your next high-stakes conversation, you will not hope to do better. You will arrive with a plan. Before you enter the room, you will take 3 spine breaths. You will open with a prepared hook. You will deliver your key point in your gravity gear, followed by a heavy pause, a clean, one-beat silence to let the point land. You will close with a hammer that defines the next step. When your pulse is thumping in your ears, good. That is not fear. That is power loading into the system. You do not need to feel calm to sound certain. Certainty is a choice you demonstrate with your mechanics. This is not about becoming someone else. It is about removing all the noise, the bad habits, and the apologetic programming that muffles the powerful person who is already there. It's about turning down the static until your true signal rings clean. Most people talk like background noise. You will not. You will build your voice like an arsenal, and you will learn to speak with the calm, controlled, undeniable force of thunder. Your voice is a weapon. But having a weapon means nothing if you never use it to get what you deserve. Because right now, you're whispering when you should be demanding. Chapter 8. Ask like you deserve it. Closed mouths starve. That's not poetry, it's logistics. While you wait silently for recognition, to find you someone with half your talent is walking straight to the decision maker and ordering exactly what you're both hungry for. You do not get what you hint at. You do not get what your hard work implies you deserve. You get what you ask for, with a steady spine and a deadline attached. Asking is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is the act of putting your value on the table and forcing a decision. It's you converting the vague, comfortable praise of good job into the concrete, uncomfortable currency of a new title, a higher budget, or a signed contract. It's you refusing to let your future depend on somebody else's memory or mercy. Here's the truth. The passive professional refuses to accept. Most people aren't withholding from you. They are simply busy. Their default state is inertia, and your silence is your consent to the status quo. The world assumes you're fine with the current deal because you haven't clearly and calmly stated otherwise. Your job is not to be dramatic. It is to be a professional. You don't whine about what's unfair. You present a better deal. You don't beg for a chance. You specify the terms. Before you ever open your mouth, fix your internal posture. When you ask from a slump, you signal weakness louder than words. Asking from a position of straight-backed self-respect tells the room what you think of your own value. Remember this: you are here to propose a trade, not to seek a favor. That single mental shift is the difference between apology and precision. Your ask must be engineered for a distracted mind. A powerful request has 4 bones: what you want, when you want it, why it serves the shared mission, and the evidence that you've earned it. Frame it as one clean, declarative breath. I am taking lead on the Q4 launch, and I require the Senior Product Manager title effective October 1st. My lead at deliverables A and B has already cut our timeline by 2 weeks, and making the authority official will ensure we hit the ship date. No padding. You are not filling space. You are creating a decision. Clarity is a form of respect. When you speak, you set the anchor. If you're talking about price, scope, or timeline, you go first. The first number on the table defines the entire psychological landscape of the negotiation. When you hesitate, you give away that power. The other person sets a low anchor, and you will spend the rest of the conversation climbing out of a hole you dug with your own silence. Now, a critical distinction. A strong ask is not a reckless one. Part of asking like a professional is knowing the battlefield. The tactics must adapt to the terrain. In a healthy, high-trust environment, a direct, bold ask is a sign of strength. But if you are operating in a toxic or highly political culture, you must be a strategist, not a loose cannon. Your first ask might need to be smaller, a test shot designed to gauge the response. You might ask for ownership of a small, visible project instead of the whole department. Sometimes the boldest ask is a quiet request for a transfer to a team that actually rewards merit. A weapon is only as good as the warrior's situational awareness. Do not confuse courage with stupidity. When you do make your move, offer two doors you can live with. A single take it or leave it demand creates a dead end. Providing a choice maintains momentum. You say, my fee for the full scope is $10,000. If the budget requires a lighter start, we can begin with the strategic phase only for $6,000 and build from there. You haven't lowered your value. You've provided a strategic off-ramp that keeps the conversation alive. Choices lubricate decisions. After you speak, you shut up, deliver the line, then hold the silence. Most amateurs sink their own request in the 5 seconds of discomfort that follows, by nervously over-explaining, justifying, and softening their position. That silence is not empty. It is a vacuum, and it is pulling on them to make a decision. Let the pressure do the work. If you cannot sit in that silence, you are still broadcasting that you need their permission, not that you are expecting a decision. When the answer is no, you do not take the verdict. You take the data. You shift from making a request to running a diagnostic. Say, I understand. To help me prepare for the future, what specific criteria would need to be met for this to become a yes? Is it a matter of timing, budget, or specific results? Do not let the conversation end on a rejection. Make it end on a set of clear requirements. You have just turned their no into a map. This is a staircase, not a cliff. You accumulate small, strategic yeses until the big yes becomes their next logical step. Your follow-up is not nagging. It is professional continuity. Most requests don't die from rejection. They die from neglect. You send the follow-up email 2 days later. You add one more piece of relevant value a few days after that. You close the loop a week later with a simple, if now isn't the time, does revisiting this on May 15th make sense? You are not chasing them. You are managing a decision to a close. Every strong ask contains a silent walk away. Say, if we can't align on the budget for the full scope, I understand, and it's best that I pass on this project for now. You are not issuing a threat. You are stating a professional boundary. The clarity of your no is what gives power and credibility to your yes. And never, ever make someone do the work for you. If you want an introduction, you provide the copy-pastable email blurb. If you want a decision, you propose the specific date and time. Make your request so frictionless that saying yes is the easiest thing they do all day. You will get told no often. Good. A no is not an indictment of your worth. A no is simply a data point. It is information telling you that you haven't satisfied the conditions, that your evidence wasn't strong enough, or that this door was never meant for you to walk through. Either way, the information is valuable. Analyze it, retool your approach, and fire again. When you do get the yes, your work is not over. You confirm the terms in writing, the scope, the dates, the deliverables. Then you over-deliver. Your reputation for executing on this yes is the down payment on your next, bigger ask. This is not about transforming into someone loud or slick. This is about stop whispering when you know you've earned the right to speak. So here is your mission. Write down 3 conversations that, if they went your way, would accelerate your life in the next 90 days. Script the one-breath version of each ask. Attach one irrefutable piece of evidence. Then send one of them before you go to sleep tonight. Not tomorrow, today. If your heart pounds as you hit send, good. That's the feeling of your old programming being burned away. Closed mouths don't just starve individuals. They starve teams, families, and organizations of the talent that is sitting silently in the room. Your brave ask today creates the possibility for you to be in a position to say yes to someone else's brave ask tomorrow. That is how the ceiling moves. Stop hinting. Stop waiting. Ask like you deserve it, and then go prove that their yes was the smartest decision they made all year. But asking gets you nowhere if you can't trust yourself to follow through. Because right now, you're breaking more promises to yourself than you're keeping. Chapter 9. Stop breaking promises to yourself. You've dumped more promises to yourself than toxic exes, and now you don't trust you anymore. The real war isn't against procrastination or a lack of motivation. The battlefield is self-trust. And if you are brutally honest, that battlefield is in ruins. You have become the kind of person who makes deals in the mirror and breaks them before lunch. The kind of person who says, tomorrow, knowing it's just a cleaner word for never. This betrayal is not an event, it's a habit. Let's start with a truth that stings. Think about how you treat liars. The friend who swears they'll be there and never shows. The boss who dangles a promotion that never comes. You stop believing them. You nod politely, but inside their words are weightless. Now turn that diagnosis inward. Every time you tell yourself you'll wake up early and then hit snooze, you teach your brain one lesson. My word is worthless. When you promise to start the diet Monday and are eating pizza by Friday, you prove to your subconscious that your commitments are a joke. Why would any part of you fight for a future it knows you have no real intention of building? Broken promises are not neutral. They are a slow-acting acid that corrodes your confidence and turns your own reflection into a stranger you can't respect. If you don't trust yourself, no victory can ever stick. Forget money, forget status, forget applause. The true currency of all power on this earth is self-trust. When you have it, you are unstoppable. You don't need permission from the outside world because you have an ironclad contract with yourself. When you know with absolute certainty that when you say, I will do it, it is already as good as done, you become a force of nature. Every leader, every creator, every warrior you have ever admired runs on this currency. Their track record with themselves is bulletproof. If you feel stuck, if you feel weak, it's because your self-trust account is overdrawn. You have spent a lifetime cashing checks your integrity could not cover. It's time to stop the bleeding and start rebuilding the bank. You don't do this with a grand, theatrical gesture. You don't go from liar to legend in a weekend. You rebuild trust the same way you build muscle, with small, consistent, and undeniable reps. This is the weapon of micro-integrity. It is the art of shrinking your promises until they are unbreakable, and then stacking those kept promises until your word becomes law again. This is what it looks like in the trenches. Instead of the grand, empty promise, I'll run 5 miles every single day. Your micro-promise is, I will put on my running shoes and walk out my front door. Instead of, I will finally write my novel this year, your promise is, I will open a new document and write one unfiltered sentence. It feels too small to matter. That is the point. Small is believable. Small is executable. And every time you keep a small promise, you make a deposit. You are providing your own mind with concrete, irrefutable evidence that you are now the kind of person who does what they say they are going to do. You will formalize this with the ritual of the kept word. Every morning you will make one and only one micro-promise to yourself. Write it down. Circle it. Treat it like a sacred vow. Then you execute it at all costs. When it is done, you will acknowledge it. You will look in the mirror and state, as a fact, I keep my word. This is not an affirmation. It is a report of a completed mission. This ritual slowly and systematically rewires your identity from, I hope I'll follow through to, I am someone who follows through. But let's be clear, a contract has consequences. For years, you've broken your own word with no immediate cost, which is why the habit became so easy. That ends now. If you break your daily promise, you pay a price, immediately. It might be a $10 donation to a political party you despise. It might be 30 burpees. It might be a phone call to a friend where you admit, I broke my word to myself today. The specific price matters less than the principle. Your integrity is no longer cheap. Once you start stacking these wins, a domino effect begins. Your confidence is no longer built on empty hype, but on a bedrock of hard evidence. Your decisions get faster because the hesitation that comes from self-doubt begins to vanish. The world around you responds differently because humans have a primal ability to sense when someone is congruent and when they are not. Self-trust has an energy and it is magnetic. Now it is your turn to do the work. It's time for the promise audit. Grab your notebook. Write down the top 5 promises you have consistently broken for the past year. Now, for each one, shrink it down into a micro-promise so small you cannot fail, not for next week. For today. Circle 1. That is your vow. Execute it. Report your success to yourself. Tomorrow you do it again. This isn't about self-love, slogans, and endless self-forgiveness for repeated betrayals. That is not love. That is negligence. True self-respect is born from doing the hard thing. It is born from telling yourself the truth and then making that truth a reality. Stop lying to the mirror. Stop feeding yourself words. Your actions have no intention of backing up. You don't need more motivation. You need to become the person whose word means something, first and foremost to you. Self-trust is the foundation. Without it, you are building on sand. With it, you can build an empire. The work is simple. Make one promise. Keep it. Do it again tomorrow. Stack enough of those kept promises, and you will look in the mirror one day and see someone dangerous. Not because you're louder or stronger, but because you finally, absolutely trust the person looking back at you. That is the only currency that matters. And with that trust finally forged, you face the last choice. The one every other chapter has been leading to. The choice to raise hell or stay average. Chapter 10. Raise hell or stay average. Let's be clear. Average isn't a safe harbor. It is the slow, comfortable drift toward a deathbed full of regret. You are standing at a split on the road right now. One path leads to the warm, numbing embrace of mediocrity, safe, predictable, and utterly unremarkable. The other leads to fire, to the friction and risk of raising your standards so violently that the old, comfortable, you cannot survive the blast. There is no middle ground. You either ignite or you decay. Average is a poison disguised as safety. It whispers, don't push too hard. Don't make waves. Just blend in. Average doesn't protect you. It suffocates you in slow motion. Average is the body that's fine while quietly falling apart. It's the career that pays the bills while it methodically drains your soul. It is the relationship where you simply coexist, two houseplants dying at the same quiet pace. Mediocrity doesn't stab you in the chest. It kills you with 1,000 tiny paper cuts, 1,000 quiet surrenders, until you wake up one day numb and unrecognizable. You've been sold the lie that growth is a luxury, an optional bonus level for when you have extra energy. That is the deadliest lie of all. Growth is not extra credit. It is oxygen. Without it, you are already suffocating. Every system in nature obeys this law. A muscle either grows or it weakens. A business either expands or it dies. There is no steady state. There is only forward or backward. You are either in a state of growth or a state of decay. When you hear the voice of comfort telling you that you've done enough, recognize it for what it is. The lullaby that will sing you straight into your grave. The gap between the person you are and the person you want to be is not measured in wishes. It is measured in the cold, hard currency of your minimum standards. You do not rise to the level of your ambitions, you fall to the level of your standards. You want to be fit? That dream is a fantasy until your non-negotiable standard is, I move my body every day. You want financial freedom? It's a daydream until your unbreakable standard is, I invest a portion of every dollar I earn. Your life is a direct reflection of what you are willing to tolerate. Average is the domain of soft standards. Extraordinary is the realm of brutal ones. So you must raise hell. This is not about creating chaos for its own sake. It is a declaration of war on the soft, comfortable standards that have kept you in a cage. It is a violent, intentional act of rebellion against your own mediocrity. You cannot politely negotiate your way out of an average life. You must burn it to the ground. This requires weapons. Your first weapon is the line in the sand. Today, you will pick one standard you will never again violate. Not 10. 1. No more hitting the snooze button. No more junk food in the house. No more ending the day without writing one sentence. You draw this line, you carve it into the earth, and you let the old version of you die on the other side of it. This isn't about being perfect. You may be tempted. You may even stumble. But the line means the debate is over. If you fall, you don't redraw the line. You get up, and you get back on the right side of it. Your next weapon is the shock move. Raising hell demands a sudden, violent act against your comfort zone. This cannot be symbolic. It must be real. You cancel the subscription that leeches your time. You sign up for the race you are not ready for. You book the ticket. You announce the launch date. You take an action so decisive that it shocks your system into a new state of motion. You must rip the IV of mediocrity out of your own arm. Your final weapon is the war cry. Every warrior has a phrase that cuts through their own hesitation. You will create yours. Something short, visceral, and personal. A command that makes the average version of you flinch. When you feel yourself sliding back toward the soft standard, when the lullaby of comfort begins, you unleash it. You don't think it. You say it out loud. Now it's time to do the work. It is time for the average audit. Grab your notebook. Write down 3 areas of your life where you have settled for fine. Fine is the code word for rotting slowly. For each one, identify the exact soft standard you've been tolerating that keeps you there. Then, for each, you will define one new, brutal standard, your line in the sand that makes fine an impossible outcome from this day forward. For area, health. Soft standard was, I work out when I feel like it. New standard is, I sweat for 30 minutes daily, no exceptions. For area, career. Soft standard was, I do my job and hope to be noticed. New standard is, every Friday, I will send a 1-paragraph summary of my weekly wins to my direct superior. That is how you raise hell. Not in one big theatrical explosion, but by systematically raising your standards, one by one, until your entire life is on fire with purpose. You will suffer either way. You can suffer the temporary, clean pain of raising your standards and demanding more from yourself. Or you can suffer the permanent, dull, suffocating ache of an average life and the regret that comes with it. One pain forges you, the other slowly dissolves you. The war is not between you and the world. It is between the part of you that wants to raise hell and the part that begs to stay safe and fine. Every single decision is a vote, one for the fire or one for the grave. Average is the slowest death. So pick your line in the sand, shock your system into motion. Find your war cry. Burn the word fine from your vocabulary. Raise hell or stay average. But know that if you choose average, the only thing you're being safe from is a life that actually matters. The world has enough quiet, average souls. It needs you on fire. If something in this audiobook connected with you, even in a small way, we'd love to hear from you. What resonated most? What are you working on in your own journey? Your thoughts, your story, they truly matter here. Your feedback not only helps us create better content, but it could inspire someone else who's listening right now. So go ahead, drop a comment below, and share something real. We're listening, and we're growing together.